what sets hotel investments apart from other real estate asset classes like multifamily or single family properties? Because you've been in both, right?
hmm
Residential as well as the multifamily. So tell us a little bit about that or take us through that journey.
Yeah, I'll take you through the journey. One of the big differences is tenants. This, I'm sure everyone that's had it is a landlord out there. It's like, I got so tired of people, being, having tenants and just all the problems and issues. And my God, we could go on for hours on the stories of what the tenants, do to the apartment complexes. And finally, I was like, oh, you know what? For my sanity, I need to get out of multifamily. And luckily, a big 1031 group out of, I think, Idaho came in and bought my portfolio of multifamily. And then I was like, okay, now what? What do I do? And through networking and just all the people that I've known throughout the years, I got involved in hotels and I love it. Some of the biggest differences, hotels are considered a business where multifamily and all the others, it's more of like a residential. It's actually real estate, but they don't consider hotels real estate.
This is the Real Estate Vibe Show, and I'm your host, Vinki Loomba. As a real estate investor and a fund manager, I'm always excited to explore the world of real estate opportunities with you and for you. Today, I have a Navy veteran, former commercial airline pilot, and co founder of Gateway Private Equity Group, Mike Stoller, with me. Mike, I hope I didn't butcher your name.
That is perfect. Thank you, Vinki.
Welcome to the Real Estate Vibe Show, Mike.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
A little bit about Mike. Mike has over 20 years of real estate experience owning and operating 1,300 plus units across apartments, residential properties, and hotels. In 2016, he pivoted to hotel investments, specializing in transforming unloved hotel assets into wealth generating opportunities. With a portfolio spanning US branded hotels and unique projects in Spain, Mike helps busy professionals build long term wealth through innovative hotel investment strategies. And we all know hotel is another asset class that we use for investments. So hotel investing is a powerful yet often overlooked asset class that combines real estate with operational business opportunities. Unlike traditional multifamily or residential investments, hotel offer multiple income streams, dynamic pricing strategies, and the ability to add value through branding, renovations, and improved management. With the right approach, hotels can deliver high returns and perform well across market cycles, making them a compelling choice for investors looking to diversify their portfolio and generate long-term wealth. Today, our topic is exploring hotel investing as a unique asset class. I love this topic because I always wanted to invest in hotels, but did not know enough. So I think this is going to be really good episode for us to learn from you, Mike. So to get started with, I'm going to ask you the question: what sets hotel investments apart from other real estate asset classes like multifamily or single family properties? Because you've been in both, right?
hmm
Residential as well as the multifamily. So tell us a little bit about that or take us through that journey.
Yeah, I'll take you through the journey. One of the big differences is tenants. Um, this, I'm sure everyone that's had it is a landlord out there. It's like, I got so tired of people, being, having tenants and just all the problems and issues. And my God, we could go on for hours on the stories of what the tenants, do to the apartment complexes. And finally, I was like, oh, you know what? For my sanity, I need to get out of multifamily. And luckily, a big 1031 group out of, I think, Idaho came in and bought my portfolio of multifamily. And then I was like, okay, now what? What do I do? And through networking and just all the people that I've known throughout the years, I got involved in hotels and I love it. Some of the biggest differences, hotels are considered a business where multifamily and all the others, It's more of like a residential. It's actually real estate, but they don't consider hotels real estate. It's like buying a business that sits
Mm-hmm.
on a piece of land.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and one of the big things, what I love is that I get your money up front. I'm not chasing rents. I'm not doing anything. You give me your credit card up front, you stay for a couple of days, you get out, and I do it again. So you make a lot more money gross on hotels because I'm renting each room out every day instead of
Mm-hmm.
multifamily where it's one time every 12 months. So I love it. And it's dynamic. I can change my prices 4 times a day. Or if a concert comes in, something comes in, I jack up the rates. So it's a lot more dynamic.
So it is a unique valued opportunity with the hotels compared to multifamily because, like you said, you can rent the room per day or you can raise the rent even. But uh, doesn't that depend upon the occupancy? Like how many rooms? Is there like a break even point for you
Mhm.
to tell us about that?
Yeah. So each different type of asset class within the hotel space. So you have
Mhm.
hotels, but then you have a lot of different type of hotels. The limited service are the ones that make probably the most money as far as return on investment, cash and cash,
Mhm.
because you don't have the restaurants, you don't have the conference spaces, you don't have that many employees. So limited service means it's your quality inns, your comfort inns, your Wingates, country inn suites, those types of hotels where you come in and stay. I give you free internet, a free breakfast, and that's it, and you leaves. And nowadays, because of COVID, it's we clean the rooms on demand.
Mhm.
And that's just kind of kept it that way. So the break-even point on the limited service is a lot better than if you had like a DoubleTree or a Holiday Inn, something that had maybe a restaurant, a bar, conference rooms. As you add different things like that, the break evens you're going to be a little bit higher because now you have food and beverage, you have all these extra costs, electricity costs. Um, so it's really good. And then the best is kind of like the express the Motel Sixes. Those
Mhm.
are the cash cows in the hotel business.
Mhm.
Um, Maybe free internet, but zero breakfast. I mean, you are there just to hit the pillow
Mhm.
and then leave. And Motel Sixes are the ones who just absolutely kill it. Wonderful.
Mhm. You mentioned like there's hotels are offer different services or they're branded differently too, like full
Mhm.
service versus limited service. So tell us the difference between that, what exactly you mean. You did mention a little bit there's a restaurant or there's like a breakfast included, but what is the
Mhm.
bigger difference and how does determine the price point for the, we call them customers, right? People who are coming to stay in your hotel?
Yeah. So, with the price points, it's kind of like automobiles. You
Mm-hmm.
ever notice it's like people ask me, it's like, how can you have all, 4 or 5 hotels on the same area, on the same street next to each other? And it's kind of like this car dealerships where you have Ford, Chevy, Toyota, you have them all, GMC, you have them all in the same row. People are
Mm-hmm.
brand loyal. So it doesn't matter if my Marriott is next to Hilton. It doesn't matter because my Marriott rewards customers are not going to stay at the Hilton. They're going to stay at the Marriott.
Mm-hmm.
So you have that type of a difference where, they're all kind of lined up. And then depending on how you travel, what you like to travel, maybe you have the kids, so you need a price point that's better. So you have what's called comp sets. So the hotels that are in my area, maybe a 2 or 3 mile radius, it's kind of like the gas stations, you kind of see them kind of all the same price. And then one changes, and then all of a sudden the others change to kind of keep
Mm-hmm.
it competitive. And that's the way
Mm-hmm.
it is with hotels. So my marketing sales team, along with the franchise marketing sales teams, they have access to looking at all the different hotels within what's called a comp set, my competitive sets. And we know what specials they're running. We know all these different things. So we kind of have that price point. So limited service are going to be a little bit cheaper. It's maybe $80 a night, $100 a night.
Mm-hmm.
And then full service and the limited service is basically that. It's very limited services. You have free internet and maybe a continental breakfast or a little bit of breakfast. Then you move up to the full service, the double trees, the Holiday Inns. Their price points are going to be a little bit higher because they may have, and here's the thing is the full service ones, and you have the higher rates, they don't give out free breakfast. You have to pay for their
Mhm.
breakfast. So I'm like
That's
going,
true.
so why is it that my hotel, it's only $80 a night? I have to give people free breakfast. But the DoubleTree, it's 150 a night. People actually have to pay for the breakfast. So it's crazy within the franchises. But the full service is going to have, some conference rooms. It's going to
Mm-hmm.
have a small restaurant, maybe a coffee shop in it,
Mm-hmm.
a bistro. And that's the full service. And then you have different levels of limited service. You have the lower scale, mid scale, upper mid scale. It just goes on, people, with all the different types and things like that. But as you go up the rung of hotels, you have more services. You may have valet. You may have, you know, um, instead of like a bistro and like a tapas type of a thing, like bar food. Now you have a
Mm-hmm.
restaurant. Now you have a rooftop bar. It just you keep adding on and on and on.
So
Airport shuttles, those
seems
things.
like the operational component is I like big one, like that influences, the potential returns for the hotel, seems like the way you are
Mhm.
sharing with us. So I wanted to ask you this question. As an investor, how do I decide if I wanted to invest in a limited service hotel or a full service hotel? Obviously, full service is going to be more expensive because it's going to have
Mhm.
a better returns as well because the price point as the price tag is higher than the
Yeah.
limited service.
Yeah. So think of it. I'm going to correlate to multifamily, the difference between maybe a C class, B class, and an A class.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The C's and B's, they're going to have more of a cap rate, a better cap rate. You're buying it for a better price, and then maybe
Mm-hmm.
you can fix it up and maybe raise the rents a little bit. A class are more of the REITs, the more of the institutional, you may make 2 or 3%, because they're just so big and so expensive. To give you an idea, I can buy a limited service 5 or 6 million, maybe, under 10, definitely under 10, but most of them that we buy are 5, 6 million. And then a full service one that I'm getting ready to build is going to probably cost me 30 million
Mm-hmm.
to build it. Um, More rooms, more services, but the cap rates, if we don't do cap rates in hotels, but I'm just kind of keeping it for um,
Mm-hmm.
the listeners. It's the ADR, the daily rate is going to be a lot higher in that full service. We're talking about $300 a night on average, where the limited service one is $100. But here's what you do is you don't really look at, am I going to invest in a full service or a limited service? What you're going to
Mm-hmm.
do is look at what can the general partner, myself, give you as far as preferred returns and distributions, and what's the MOIC, which is, kind of like the return on your money. And that's the most important thing. You have to vet the GP. What do they know? What experiences have they gone through COVID? And we all learned so much during COVID. Um, I'm a much better hotelier because of COVID. But don't look at it as, do I want to invest in this? It's like, which one can give me a better return? The full service ones are going to be a longer time period because you just got to
Mm-hmm.
build it up. And, if we buy it, it's like, man, it's a lot of work. Where a limited service one, 3 to 5 years and return your money and it's good. So it just depends of what type of investor. Do you want cash return? Do you want distributions, or do you want kind of long-term distributions and you don't really care about exiting out in 3 years? Do you want something it's because hotels, remember, it's a business. It's a diversification of your portfolio. I'm not saying, keep some money in the multifamilies and single families. Hotels are a longer time period. We're not putting lipstick on it and flipping it. It's
Mm-hmm.
a business. So it's long, steady distributions, but it could be, 7 to 10 year holds, on some of them.
So what is your strategy, like 7 to 10 year hold or 3 to 5? Like you said, you can do 3 to 5 too if you're doing limited
Yeah.
service or no service
Yeah, yeah.
hotel. Hmm.
Um, it's a great question because it depends on the hotel where it's at. For instance, the very high-end boutique that I have an open syndication now that we're buying in Spain. That's called
Hmm.
a lifestyle investment.
Hotel. Hmm.
The people that are investing in this Masia, it's a 1,000-year-old estate that
Hmm.
is one of the top 25 small hotels in all of Spain.
Hmm.
People don't want to get out of that. You
Hmm.
know, people that have invested with us, it's like going, number one, can I visit? You know,
Of
that's what
course.
that's what people want. And but it's people want it for 10, 15 years. It's like, why would you ever get rid of something so historical? It's one of those movie set type of things, you know. But if you have this Motel 6, I may say, you know what, we're going to go in, fire the GM, do the things that we do, put some paint on it, um, keep it for 3 years, 4 years, and then we sell it for profit and cash everyone out. It's very
Hmm.
different scenarios depending on, the new build is going to be probably a 10-year project.
Hmm.
It takes 3 years for people, for it to be built and people to even realize that it's there. And then we have 7 years of operating it, and then you do your thing, and then we can cash out. But and then some of them, if I may, I give different exit strategies. For
Hmm.
instance, the one in Spain. Hey, you know what? In
Hmm.
5 years, or I could sell in 3 to 5 years if I meet my IRR,
Hmm.
and we can cash out. I could keep it for 7 years, and what we could do is those people that want to get cashed out, all the other investors can buy them out, and we hold it. For 10,
Hmm.
15 years, because why sell? So it's one of those maybe ifs, depending on situation type things with hotels. Um, if it's in a small town, flip it, keep it for 3 years, make it better and cash out. And then people reinvest, in a different project with us.
So is basically what I'm hearing is just like starting with class C or D and then moving up, kind of on the ladder. And then eventually you wanted to move up to the lifestyle hotels because those are the ones where like we were talking earlier before the recording as well, because those are sometimes very hard to restore because the
Mhm.
restoration is going to take so much. And these are 1,000-year-olds or more
Mhm.
old sites.
Yep.
Because I've been to multiple countries recently too on my Southeast Asia trip, and I have experienced that firsthand, that, how the restoration is happening in some of the places and how they are turning some of these historical sites into hotels.
Mhm.
And but they are kind of are required to keep certain percentage as is to keep that heritage, that culture, or whatever is attached to that,
Yeah.
so that feeling is still there. And like you said, it's the lifestyle choice. Yes, it is a lifestyle hotel kind of investment for people who are doing that. So let's talk about that a little bit, since you are doing that live project. How did that unfold for you? And especially also, I
Mhm.
wanted you to, I'm going to ask you two, three questions together. If you can take us your journey, you started in residential, multifamily, and then you touched on a little bit that you move into hotels. And now you're going into the lifestyle hotels, which is a
Mhm.
quite a, journey in itself, and
Yeah.
pretty interesting too.
Yeah. So I call it, I got started back in the PG days, which is, I consider, it's called pre-Google. And
I like that.
there's this guy that all of us know, Robert Kiyosaki, and which it's really good. He lives here in Scottsdale with me, and I've
Uh-huh.
been to some parties with him and gotten to know him,
Lucky
and,
you.
and a wonderful guy,
Hmm.
and he's very gracious because I'm like going, I wouldn't be where I'm at without you. He was the alpha.
Hmm.
I bought 10 properties, easy. Buying is easy, but then I was like going, I don't know how to be a landlord. Is there
Hmm.
paperwork? And I can't Google anything, right? And I'm in a town of 2,500 people in small town Indiana. So I failed miserably. We
Hmm.
lost everything because I didn't know how to do anything. Fast forward, then, I was like going, screw this real estate stuff. I became an airline pilot. And then I was like, well, now what do I do with my money? I was like, man, that real estate is it, So I used my salary. a lot of my salaries and started buying again.
Mm-hmm.
And brought on a property management group, and then I got really injured as a pilot, landing the airliner,
Oh,
and realized that property management groups nickel and dime me to death. That's why I'm never going to retire. So I fired them. Now there's Google. Now there's ways for me to learn. Now there's things to do, courses to take. And I just dove in at 100%, got into a lot of multifamily, a lot of residential, um, and did those flips, did the thing, seller financing. And then, 2007, 8 came, the whole crash.
yeah.
And that's when I made most of my money. I did a lot of seller financing, did a lot of bank acquisitions on some really good properties. So that's when I went from some units to a lot of units, was during that time period through about 2012. And then that's when this group came in unsolicited and wanted to buy me out. I was like, nope. I am golfing. I am having fun. I am not flying. It's my life is good. But they finally, 4 times, they came back and kept bumping up the price. And finally, the last one was like, oh my God, how, I can't pass this up, because finally it's like the small town Indiana kid was going to make it. Um, so I said yes. But then I was like, okay, now what? Now the cap rates were like 3, 4%, in 2016, 2015, 2016. So that's when I got into hotels. One of my partners, so, ladies and gentlemen, when you get into a different asset class, if I
Mm-hmm.
may, real quick, don't just do it, because multifamily hotels are nothing alike. Don't do it. So what I did is I found a guy. He's from India. He's one of my longtime partners, and I said, "Here's what I'm going to do. I've got a lot of money. You're going to find me hotels. You're going
Mm-hmm.
to teach me how to find hotels. You're going to teach me how to operate them. You're going to
Mm-hmm.
operate them for me. But what I'll do is, because I like to have them to have skin in the game, instead of a salary, I said, I'll give you a piece of the profits, profit sharing. So now there's an incentive. This is the best way to do things, ladies and gentlemen, when you don't have 6 figures to pay people on salaries and things like that. Um, I learned that from the bad property management groups. There's no skin in the game for them. They don't care. They
That's so true.
charge me $500 just to breathe. Um, but I gave this guy profit sharing. Now there's an incentive. The more money he makes from my hotels, the more
Mm-hmm.
money he makes. And that's what I did. And then it's all about building up the team. This same guy, Vic, lives 7 months out of the year in Barcelona.
Mm-hmm.
And so he started kind of getting a team in Barcelona. He's like, oh, Mike, you need to check this out. I'm like, oh, no, I'm not buying stuff in, Spain. I've got enough issues, enough
Yeah.
things here in America because COVID, and then people don't want to work, the great resignation, now interest rates. And I'm like going, my God, you know, but he talked me into going. And I was like, these are the most beautiful storybook estates, castles. And I was like, okay, yes, I need to own these. So we have a team in place, full time in Spain. Some of the other people that are running it's going to be running our Spain portfolio. And for those that want to invest, the goal is to have a website, the Macias of Spain or whatever of Europe.
Mm-hmm.
Macias means old estate, old farmhouse. Click down Spain, Portugal, Italy, and then you have subsections of what properties you want to go to and they're all
Mm-hmm.
boutiques. And so we're starting to build up a portfolio in Spain.
Wow, that's really nice. So I'm going to ask you this question. With this COVID happened big time, and then hospitality industry was completely kind of in the shutdown state. People were not traveling. So now it's picking up. So I would like to hear your views from your experience, how the hotel market has evolved
Yeah.
pre-COVID and post-COVID. And what do you see up in the horizon? There might be like a huge thing coming in the hospitality industry way since people started traveling out, they wanted to go
Mhm.
out because they were in the shutdown period or lockdown period, they're kind of bored sitting at home. They
Oh
wanted
yeah,
to.
2022,
Yeah.
2023 was fantastic.
Mhm.
2021. So prior to COVID, I would have bought the hotel just about anywhere in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have any restrictions. COVID taught me a very important lesson, and I'm not, don't take this as a politics. This is business decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the way I have to be. I can't be emotional. I can't be, driven by politics. It's like, it's to me, it's a business decision. I had a lot of friends who lost extremely good hotels because the state that the hotels were in forced them to shut down.
Mm-hmm.
The banks said, hey, you know what? Here's 3 months deferment. Now you got to pay your 40,000, 50,000 a month loan.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Mr. Governor, can I reopen? Nope. You're shut down for a year. We don't care. They don't care about, the owner. They care about whatever.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people lost a lot of things. Luckily, I thank God that all of my hotels, I call them, they're in the free states. They allowed me to make the choice. As long as I followed COVID protocols, I was allowed to be open,
Mm-hmm.
and we survived. Every single one of our hotels survived because of that.
Nice.
So I will in now in the future, it's like, why would I ever raise 10, $20 million through investors in a state where all they have to do is something come up, like the bird flu? I mean, they could just say, oh, you know what, everything's shut down again. I can't do that to my investors. I can't do that to my health. So I will only invest in the states where I think it's free. In Spain, ladies and gentlemen, it's unbelievable. It's like, I'm talking about $5 million, very small hotels here. I can't build for under $250,000 per room here. That's
Mm-hmm.
what it costs the United States. If you can believe that this 1,000-year-old estate that I'm getting ready to buy in Spain has 11 rooms, top 25 in all of Spain. It grossed 1.3. I'm buying it for 2 million.
Wow.
And there's 4 or 5 of those right now in Spain that so if you want big returns and to say that you own a storybook estate or castle in Spain, um, I almost feel like I have to fudge the numbers because they're too good. No
Mm-hmm.
one's going to believe me if so it's like, should I say that I'm buying it for like 2.5, you know, to bring down the cap, to bring down the returns a little bit in the IRR. But it's unbelievable opportunities over there because, in Spain, no one in Spain will buy them. They don't have that entrepreneur mindset over there. So it's
Mm-hmm.
outside investors.
Somebody has to come in and take over. Hmm. And then you mentioned in the multifamily, I know we use the IRR, cash on cash, these kind of terms, to figure out the returns for the investors. And we kind of educate our investors on that too. Okay, what IRR is, or what cash on cash is, or what the preferred return is. So similar to that, what do you use? What kind of terminology is being used in the hotel industry? Like you mentioned,
Yeah.
ADR, like average
Yeah.
daily return, and also you mentioned MOIC. So if you can share that with us a little bit, how to evaluate any deal if something comes to our table.
Yeah, so what we do, and that's a great question because we don't really use a cap rate. It's like, let's say you're going to go out and buy a McDonald's. You're not
Mhm,
going to say, well, is it a 10 cap? We don't use those things in the business world. What we usually do is X times gross revenue. Okay,
mhm,
so the different types of hotels, whether it's indoor, outdoor, access, full service area, we it usually in that area with those types of things, we know that it's worth maybe 3.5 or 4 times gross revenue, or maybe 5 times. If you're in San Francisco, it could be 10 times. The bigger cities, Chicago, things like that. So we look at gross revenue just to give us an idea. Within those things, ADR, which is your average daily rate. So that means that for the month, I averaged $85 a night. Okay.
mhm,
And then you can times that by how many rooms were available.
mhm,
And then you get what's called RevPAR, and that's the revenue per available room.
mhm,
And now I can see, you had 100 rooms available. You had, $80, $100 per ADR, for your rate. Now you come up with that RevPAR. And the RevPAR is really, and then you have TrevPAR, which is total
mhm,
room. That's your restaurants, your marketplaces, all the other things. But we really look at RevPAR to see how strong that hotel's doing
Mhm.
with the amount of days and amount of rooms that are available per month or per year.
Mhm.
So RevPAR is really good, and TrevPAR is really important. And then once you get going through, the cash on cashes, the NOIs, they're pretty much the same. Um, you have more expenses in hotels, but you make more. If you have a
Yeah.
100 key hotel and 100 key multifamily, the gross is going to be so much higher. And then what we do is just like in multifamily, I look at all the expenses and see, okay, I use these vendors, these things, and I can kind of consolidate, add my discount to it, and I can decrease those expenses. MOIC is it's kind of like your how do I explain it? It's what I'm going to give you over the lifetime of that investment.
Mhm.
Okay, it's the return. So within the return, you have a preferred return.
Mhm.
Let's say it's 8% preferred return. So if I'm giving away $100,000 this quarter,
Mhm.
the LPs, which is the limited partners, get 8% off the top, depending on your percentage of investment. Okay, you're
Mhm.
going to get 8%. And then you have what's called the split or the waterfall. And that could be 80-20, 75-25. And that is after that 8% is paid out, the rest of the money gets split 80% to the investors, LPs, and 20% to the general partners.
Mhm.
Um, One very important thing if you're looking at investing, the more waterfalls that they have, I'd be very wary of the general partner because what they're trying to do is calculate and figure out ways that they get paid more.
Mhm.
Okay.
GP.
So if you
Right.
see, if I can't even understand all the waterfall structure, if we do 15% IRR and this and that, and we make this, then I get this, and
Mhm.
they'll do that 4 or 5 times. I have one water, I don't even have the waterfall. It's 8% preferred return, and then we split it 80-20.
Mhm.
Just keep it simple. Um, I appreciate the investors. I don't need to make, if I want to make more, I buy another hotel. Um, so you have that split, and then you have the IRR. And then if we're paying cash for it, you have, uh, like a non-leveraged IRRs, and then you start doing the non-leveraged calculations. But the properties in Spain, we're paying cash for those. I mean, it's $2 million, so it's not much. But then you have the MOIC, which is maybe 3.2. That means at the end, at the sale, when I cash you out, you're going to make 3.2 times your investment, or two and a
Right.
half times, whatever it is.
So just like equity multiple that we have, like if you're investing certain amount, how much times you're gonna get it back. So kind of equity multiple
Mhm.
MOIC. So let me ask you this question. If somebody's looking to start in hotel investments,
Yeah.
what would you advise? And then, somebody who doesn't have the experience, but they're excited about the hotel investments, what is your advice? How would somebody get started? And what are some of the risks that you mentioned? You've been mentioning all along, don't know this, don't do this. I appreciate that. So if you can highlight high level for us, like for example, me, if I wanted to invest in a hotel, what I should be aware of, or how should I get
As
started?
an LP or a GP?
As an LP or GP, both ways.
Both. So number one is everything. The whole thing is there's so many syndications out there. Okay.
That's true. Mhm.
You have no idea this general partner, what kind of experience they have, how many deals that they've done. Number one, look up that general partner. Look up like ours is Gateway Private Equity Group. How long have we been doing this? How many investments have we done? That's the
Mhm.
number one thing is, ladies and gentlemen, my God, people see like one episode of HGTV. It's like, oh, I'm going to go do a syndication because these people did it and it only take an hour.
Mhm.
One episode, I'm going to be rich. It's please, it's like, no.
Mm.
That's the number one thing is do your research on the general partner of
Mhm.
that group, that private equity group.
Mhm.
Number two, understand because I talk to so many people that call me up and it's the free advice thing. Mike, can I have coffee with you? I have no idea what this paperwork. means. So learn in that subscription agreement, the LLC agreement,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
what all the different fees
Mm-hmm.
are, what
Mm-hmm.
are the returns, what are the splits.
Mm-hmm.
So if they give you 5% preferred return and then it's 60/40, it's like, come on, man. It's like you really don't want people's money. Um, look what the IR, look at the hold periods, just understand what that paperwork means. It's just don't sign and say, well, I want to own a hotel. I'm just going to sign it. There you go. And you have no idea what you signed. Um, educate yourself. It should be at least an 8% preferred return.
Mm-hmm.
And then if it's anything less than a 75/25 split, it's why are you investing? It should be a higher. Um,
Mm-hmm.
now, if they say if we return all of your money, it may go to a 75/25 or a 70/30. That's fine because all of that money is now just slush, right? You've already been
Mm-hmm.
paid back your money. Um, so understand that. And then how long, what type of investor are you? Do you
Mm-hmm.
want it to be like a 5-year hold? Are you older and say, I'm not going to be around for another 15 years, so I want it
Mm-hmm.
to be a 3 to 5? Or are
Mm-hmm.
you, here's 50,000. And well, that's one thing also. What's the minimum investment? Is it 50,000? It's 200,000, 250,000. What do you get? Do you get different things if you invest more? So there's just all these things. And as a GP, find a partner. I tell everybody on my podcast and everyone else's podcast, get a team, set a team, find somebody that knows what they're doing. I'd never do hotels. I would have failed in hotels if I didn't have my partner Vic
Right
to teach me.
knowledge. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Knowledge, 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 knowledge. That's the only way I would ever, don't ever do a hotel on your own. Don't do it. I don't care how many multifamily, it's just too different.
So it's a team
Or
support, just like
invest with us and we'll
multifamily.
teach you.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Mm-hmm.
invest with us and then we'll teach you how to do the hotels.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good one. I like that. And it's a team support, just like multifamily. You cannot do it on your own. And it's always a good idea when you're collaborating with others, doing things together. It's like multiple minds and then multiple ideas, and then you're running with it with the one vision, one goal. And it's like you ought to achieve success, which is really great. And the market is, I think, picking up and it's going to do really well, hotel industry over the course of period. So last question I'm going to ask you is, what do you see in your crystal ball, what the future is for the hotels?
Um, I don't need a crystal ball because there are so many. What's nice about being commercial, there are so many reports and studies and forecasts. 2025 is going to be a lot better year.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this first quarter, uh, we are exceeding last year, but people were kind of cautiously optimistic whenever there's an election, right? It's like, what do I do? Is eggs going to
Right,
be
right.
less than $20 a dozen? And so people are always kind of optimistic. Whenever there's kind of some wars going on, people are a little more optimistic. But the forecast for 2025 is that the interest rates are going to come down. People are going to be a little less stressed. And Europe is all the big ones, BlackRock, Blackstone, and the others, they're all going and buying in Spain.
Mm-hmm.
Um, CNN just came out with an article about Spain's tourists, number one destination for investors. Spain,
Mm-hmm.
for the first time in 2023, became number one over France, Germany, and Britain. So Spain
Mm-hmm.
is it, So they are going to be more and more because there's just better deals. They don't have the American economy where it's just driving prices up. They don't have anything. They don't have that competition thing, where it's the cap rates are lower and compressed. But so Spain, Italy, Portugal are going to be probably the top destinations in Europe for investment
For the tourists too, I think very touristy
just
areas, all
because of the
these.
tourists. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So at this point, I'm going to ask you share one golden nugget with my audience. It could be on your mindset, like,
Hmm.
whatever, how
Yep,
you learned over the years, or whatever you like to share.
sure. Real quick, I've always have and always will have mentors, coaches. Everyone's listening to this because you either are or want to be a real estate investor.
Mhm,
What is your why? And don't say that, well, I want $1 million. I'm like,
mhm.
if you do it right, you're going to get several $1 million. What is your why? My why is I wanted to build a life that I didn't need a vacation from. All
I
of you
like that.
9 to 5ers are like, oh my God, I get 2 weeks vacation. I can't wait. I don't want to go back to work. I can work anywhere in the world, anytime I want. I can be anywhere. And so I've built a life. I will never retire. I don't have to. I just hire people to run it. So that was my why. So pick your why and stick with it.
I like that. Why is very important. So this brings us to our rapid fire round. Like I told you before, I'm going to ask you 5 questions. You're going to answer it in one word or one sentence only.
Ooh.
Are you ready?
Okay.
So first question is, what is the one of the most important thing that you learned in your life, and how did your life change after learning it?
In one word, I'll do that one phrase. Most important thing I learned in my life is, man, there's so many. How to work from home was big. Um,
Okay, so elaborate a little bit for us too. What does that mean?
yeah. So there are some people that I've met that no matter how much you think you're an entrepreneur, you're just not because your mindset, you are an employee. That's not bad. You can work your way you can work your way up through and become a CEO, but as soon as you say I'm going to start my own business, a lot of people fail because they sit in their own office and they're like, "Oh, I wonder what's on Facebook. Oh, I wonder what's on LinkedIn." And then all of a sudden it's noon. It's like, well, I should do this. Well, I need to go to the grocery store. You've procrastinated, you haven't done anything, and that is a lot of people. So if you want to succeed, learn how to be an entrepreneur, learn how to work without supervision.
That's true. Learn to delegate, bring other people along because
The
all
team is
the
it.
minimum paying jobs just outsource, give it to other people to do it. Then you become an entrepreneur. That's a good one. Thank you. So share with me one good book that you like and would like to recommend to my audience other than Rich Dad Poor Dad, because everybody loves that book.
Everyone knows it. Um, one of my really good friends wrote a book 20 years ago, or so, and he's one of my mentors. It's called Money Secrets of the Rich.
Oh, I have that, I think, that book.
Oh, do you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. I think I have it in my shelf.
Yeah.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Really good friend of mine, John Burley.
Yes,
I,
yes,
I
yes.
see
I
at
think
least
I
once a
have
month. Yeah.
that. That's a
What
good
that
book.
taught
Thanks
me,
for sharing
it's a
that.
really good
Yeah,
book. Because
it
here's the
is.
thing is, wow, I just made $100,000. I'm going to go buy an $80,000 car. It teaches you how the millionaire next door lives
That's
and
true.
how the rich. Here's the thing is, if you think you're rich or you want people to think you're rich, that's when you have the Prada and your Louis Vuittons. The real rich people, the richest person that I know is worth, I don't know, $3.5 billion. He drives Ford F-250, cowboy boots, blue jeans, flannel shirt. He doesn't need to impress anybody. Do you?
Yeah,
And if you need to impress someone, think
you're
about what
not
you're
rich.
doing. So, Money Secrets of the Rich teaches you how to control once you have money, how to
Mhm.
keep that money.
Keeping that discipline, that's very important. So, next question is in one word, what does life mean to you?
I'm going to say three. Give it back. Giving back, 2 words.
I like that. That's good. So, what is your biggest passion?
Hmm. My wife.
Oh, that's a good one. She'll be happy to hear that. No, I'm just kidding. That's a good
Hey,
one. That's
hi. Did you hear that?
a
We've been married in May it will be 28 years.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah, we got married when we were 12.
Oh, really? Wow, that's a
No,
good
I'm
one.
just kidding. I am really that
Uh,
old.
yeah, I'm just kidding. If you could turn back in time and talk to your younger self, what would you tell yourself and why?
It would be to not sell those properties because now they're worth three, four times more. I would have taught myself not to give up. I was in the U.S. Navy. I was in military, and I didn't do what the military said. It's like, you never give back, you never give up.
Mhm,
And when we failed in real estate the first time, I was like, going, I'm done. If I had stuck with it, who knows where, I don't like doing that because I love where I'm at.
mhm.
And, the whole butterfly effect, if I would have not stopped, you never know where I'd be and if I'd still even be still alive. So I'm very grateful for all those lessons and challenges. But I would say, or invest more. That's the biggest thing is there's a lot of really good opportunities that I passed up. I'm just like,
Mhm.
oh my gosh, you know, I should have done them.
But it's okay. You're at a good place.
I'm
So
in a
how
good
can
place.
people reach out? Yeah, you are at a good place. You're very blessed. How can people reach out to you?
Website www.gateway, Gateway, P is in private, E is in equity. So gatewaype.com. LinkedIn under Michael Stoller. I have a YouTube channel. It's Mike Stoller, where I go through some of the investments, some highlights on me looking at hotels. I've got some videos of Spain there.
Mhm.
If you're interested in the Spanish syndication, if you go to gatewaype.com, upper right-hand corner, you'll see Cancun. And if you want to look at the hotels, Hotel Cancun, C-U-C-H, C-A-N-C-U-C-H. And I also have a podcast. If you also, it's not real estate, it has real estate based, but it's diversifying in every single type of asset class unimaginable. And my podcast is called The Richer Geek, Richer Geek, because I'm a big geek.
That's a good one. Thank you, Mike. I really enjoyed our conversation today, and thanks for joining today. And everyone, thanks for tuning into our Real Estate Vibe show. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with anyone looking to elevate their real estate investing game. And until next time, stay focused, stay inspired, and keep building that real estate vibe. See you guys.
Cheers.
Bye, Mike.
Bye.